Hey, horror fans, once again, it is me, the Horror Miser Monty G. It's time to review the latest film in the Tremors series. Yes, it is Tremors Shriekers Island. Yes. Now, Tremors Shriekers Island is a 2020 monster horror film. It was directed by Don Michael Paul. He did the previous two, and he's doing this one again. He also wrote this along with his colleague Brian Brightly. Now, once again, it stars Michael Gross, John Hedger, Jackie Cruz, Richard Blake, and Caroline Landshire. Now, in this one, when a group of hunters genetically modify graboid eggs, they face an all-out war against larger, terrifying, intelligent graboids and the swiftly multiplying shriekers. Hey, maybe some ass blasters, too. Out of all the monster films I've seen outside of the Godzilla film series, none have had the staying power that Tremors series has had. Now, who would have thought that the 1990 film Tremors, which was a throwback of the monster films that came out during the 50s, would still be alive today? I mean, think about it. You take that nice, fun film that came out in the 90s. I actually saw it in a drive-in theater when it came out not a drive-in theater. It was a theater on 69th Street back in the good old days. And me and my friends, we went to go see it. I think only paid $1. That's when you actually could only pay $1 to go to the movie theaters back then. Wow. And it was a fun movie. You had great performances by Kevin Bacon and Fred Ward. Obviously Michael Gross was in this one as well. Reba McEntire, the country singer, she was in it as well. It was a fun, nice, good monster picture with good practical effects. So, film director Don Michael Paul, who, like I said, directed the previous two films, returns with the seventh film, Tremors: Shriekers Island. So now in this film, we're introduced to the big game hunter Bill, played with glee, and the twirling mustache Richard Blake of 31 and um, 3 from Hell, an owner of a biotech company who's leading a hunt with some wealthy clients to hunt graboids. Ooh. Now we eventually find out he has genetically altered the graboids to make them more intelligent and deadly for his hunt. Didn't this guy see Deep Blue Sea? You remember what happened when they did that to those sharks? Meanwhile, we see Dr. Jasmine Jazz Walker and our colleague Jilly on a research site next to Bill's, and they find out what Bill's doing. They eventually find out that he's doing something not illegal, but obviously morally repugnant to them. Jazz, as we find out, is an old flame of Burt Comer. And after finding out what Bill is up to, and after some coaxing, convinces him to find and destroy the monsters before a thing gets worse, if they haven't already. And of course, they have. Now, one of the things that Don and Brian have done in this particular version is they remove most of the comedic elements that we've seen in the past films. I mean, even in the first film, we had some comedic elements in that film. Obviously, Fred Ward and Kevin Bacon were really good as Val and Earl. And here we have that same situation with Bert and John Hedges' character Jimmy. But some of that laughter that we've seen, some of the funny comments, especially when Jamie Kennedy came on in Bloodlines, that element seems to be gone here. There's this particular film is a more darker, more serious tone with this one. Don't get me wrong, there are some funny lines, mostly coming from Bert, but it's all serious. There's one thing we love about Michael Gross and Burt Gummer. He can say some funny ass lines, but he's also very serious in it. But that's one of the reasons why we love this character. Another thing I liked about the film was the location that they used. Now, this was filmed mostly all in Thailand, and Don and the filmmakers take advantage of all the beautiful landscapes, blue waters. I mean, some very lush places. It looks very beautiful, relaxing, and they create a very lovely scenery, but it's also a deadly setting as well. Now, you really got to love Michael Gross as he continues to shine as Bert. Now, this is funny because I remember an interview he did some time ago, right after Family Ties ended its run, and he said that he wished the Keaton family had died on a plane crash because it's obviously he did not want to be typecast, and you can see that he's come a long way from Stephen Keaton to Burt Gummer. Now, he's tough. He has a very tough exterior. This was something that we always seen out of the Burt Gummer character. He takes nothing. He takes nothing for granted. Now, although he would rather retire and live a long life doing nothing, Bert will still do what is necessary to kill the graboids, no matter how much he's pissed off about some of the stuff that has happened to him and what the cost of hunting these graboids have done to him. He's still going to do what's necessary and what's right because that's Bert. That's what Bert does. Now, John Hedger, best known from the 2004 comedy Napoleon Dynamite, is pretty good as Jimmy. Now, he plays him straight, caring man who supports his colleagues, he cares about his colleague, and he wants to do the right thing, even if it means he's going to die, but he feels as though this is what he has to do, what is necessary to protect his research and his work and his friends. No, he definitely sees Bert as a mentor, trying to prove he can handle killing monsters even if it's way above his head. There's a nice scene between him and Bert when they go off to try to kill some streakers in a cave. And it's nice seeing him try his best to make sure he can kill them, even though he's scared as hell. But he wants to prove to Bert that I can do this. Kind of reminds me of the relationship that Val and Earl have. No, I simply love Richard Blake as the bad guy, Bill. I mean, he's cocky, he's arrogant, he's so sure of himself, and obviously he's ignoring all of the dangers for the thrill of the hunt. This man simply has no disregard for safety or doesn't care who gets in the way. He's going to do what he does best, and he feels as though this is his biggest challenge is to hunt these graboids. Now, I love the back and forth he and Bert have with each other. Now, it is a bit on the cheesy side, but both actors do a fantastic job with their point and counterpoints regarding the graboids. It's just fantastic. You could just sit back and glee watching Michael Gross and Richard Blake carry off on that scene right there. You're going to love it. No, unfortunately, the same can't be said for English actress Caroline Langshear. I think I pronounced her name right, who plays Jazz. Now, she's okay. I'm not saying that she's not a good actress. She's doing a good job, but she doesn't have any chemistry with Michael. I mean, I didn't buy 1 minute that they were a couple or they had some type of relationship or the fact that she had a son with him. There's just nothing there. Like I said, it's not her fault. It's just that maybe there was a problem with the script. There's nothing there that would convince me that these two were a couple. No, I do want to say I did like Jackie Cruz from, I think it's Orange is the New Black, who plays Freddie. She's a badass Puerto Rican girl, and obviously she played the role straight. She's fun, she's witty. I like her, and there's some chemistry. You can see a little romance between her and Jimmy. Obviously, she might have a crush on Jimmy, but I did like her in the role. Now, it's said for this film, they decided to use CGI effects instead of practical effects for the Shriekers and the Graboids. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? The one thing I've loved about the series is it might not be as good as the original film, but at least they all use practical effects. That's what made the Graboids more threatening and terrifying, was the practical effects. And not only that, they use terrible CGI, making the monsters look terrible and not threatening, nothing frightening. I mean, come on now. I understand you're on a budget, and I'm pretty sure they used most of it because they had to film in the Thailands. But come on, use practical effects. That's what made this. That's what made the film great. Was the practical effects? This CGI crap is terrible. I mean, we don't even get any decent on-screen kills. Just your typical graboid guts raining down, but that's just as fake as the monsters are. I mean, where are the on-screen kills? I mean, it's like we see the graboids attack, we see something leaping out, but then we don't even see any blood. We don't see any guts. We see nothing. I mean, it's like for some reason they just did not have the budget. But that's one of the reasons why we love the Tremors series is mainly the practical effects. As much as I did not like Cold Day in Hell, the one thing I admired the film was that their use of practical effects. Now, we do get some Predator callbacks from the Shriekers, and almost thought for a minute that I actually thought they actually were using some of the music when we see the thermal radiation scans that the Shriekers use. But it seems like the filmmakers did not have the budget to make the monsters frightening like they have in the past films. I mean, that's a real blow to this film, is not using practical effects. Now, this is an improvement from Cold Day of Hell because I did not like that, and I'm sure some people will miss Jamie Kennedy in this film, but I did enjoy John Hender's performance, and Richard Blake has proven that he's a very good character actor. I thought he did a fine good job as the villain of the film, and once again, what can you say about Michael Gross? Now, I don't know if this is going to be the last film in this series, but as you know, it's always that possibility when we'll get an eighth film. So, I'm going to give Tremors 2.5 out of my 5 bloody gold coins. Gave it 2.5 out of my 5 bloody gold coins. It was a decent film. Michael Gross is great. Richard Blake is great. John Heder is great. But again, what is going on with these badass CGI? I mean, come on, guys. You gotta, if you're gonna make an A film, bring back the practical effects. I want to see some guts and blood. And so there you have it. That's my review of Tremors Shrieker Island. Have you seen it? Right now it's playing available on Netflix. If you have Netflix, I know it's playing here in the States. I know it's playing anywhere else in the country. Have you seen Tremors Shrieker Island? Did you enjoy it? Or did you hate the CGI effects as much as I did? Leave your comments down in the comment section below and tell me what you thought about Tremors Shrieker Island. And that's my video for today, guys. Hope you did enjoy it. And if you did, please give it a thumbs up, like, and share. And if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. That way you'll be notified anytime when I put up new videos such as this one. Once again, my name is Lamont Smith, better known as the Horror Minds of Monty G. And always remember that horror rules. And I'll see you in my next video. I'm out.